The morning sun shone through the tall windows of the United Nations building in New York. Inside the Security Council chamber, representatives from various nations sat discussing global security matters. It was supposed to be a normal Tuesday morning meeting. It wasn't. The first sign that something was wrong came when every electronic device in the room died at once. Phones went dark. Computers shut down. Even the emergency lights flickered and failed. In the sudden silence, everyone could hear a deep, humming sound growing louder above the building. General Robert Thompson of the U.S. Military Joint Chiefs looked up at the ceiling, his hand automatically reaching for his sidearm. 20 years of military experience told him something big was about to happen. He was right. The air in the center of the chamber began to shimmer like heat waves rising from hot pavement. A bright blue light formed, growing larger until it was the size of a doorway. The security teams moved forward, weapons drawn, forming a protective circle around the delegates. Through the light stepped three figures that made everyone in the room freeze in place. They were clearly not human. Each stood nearly 8 feet tall, with silvery skin that seemed to glow from within. Their four-fingered hands held no weapons, and they wore what looked like flowing robes made of liquid metal. "We represent the Galactic Council," the middle figure announced in perfect English, its voice resonating throughout the chamber. "We have come to evaluate Earth's readiness for membership in the galactic community." The room erupted in chaos. Security teams maintained their positions but looked uncertain. Delegates began speaking all at once. General Thompson stepped forward, his calm voice cutting through the noise. "I suggest we all take a seat and discuss this properly," he said, maintaining his composure despite the extraordinary situation. The alien in the middle, who introduced himself as High Observer, nodded in approval. As everyone settled, small devices floated from the alien's robes, scanning the room and its occupants. "Interesting," the High Observer said, looking at the security teams. "You still carry projectile weapons. How quaint." The other two aliens made sounds that seemed like laughter. One of them spoke, their tone dripping with amusement. "They propel small pieces of metal using chemical explosions. It's like finding a civilization that still uses stone spears." General Thompson noticed how they focused on the security team's weapons. "Our firearms are highly effective for our defense needs," he stated firmly. The High Observer waved his hand dismissively. "We passed that stage thousands of years ago. Our civilizations use energy weapons, capable of dispersing targets at a molecular level. Your bullets would be useless against even our most basic personal shields." To demonstrate, one of the aliens activated something on their wrist. A faint blue field shimmered around them. The High Observer picked up a metal paperweight from the nearest desk and threw it at his companion. The object bounced off the shield harmlessly. "See, even simple kinetic impacts are meaningless to our defensive technology. This is why we must evaluate if Earth is ready for membership. Your technology level is concerning." General Thompson shared a look with his Russian counterpart across the table. Both military men recognized the arrogance in the alien's tone. It reminded them of every overconfident force they'd ever encountered who underestimated their opponents. "We would be happy to demonstrate our military capabilities," Thompson offered carefully, "as part of your evaluation process." The High Observer made a sound like a chuckle. "That won't be necessary. We've seen enough to make an initial assessment. We will return in 1 month with the full Galactic Council's decision regarding Earth's status." With that, the blue light appeared again, and the aliens stepped through it, leaving the chamber in stunned silence. As soon as they left, General Thompson pulled out his phone, now working again, and dialed a number. "Mr. President, you're not going to believe what just happened. But more importantly, we need to prepare." "Yes, sir. They're advanced, but they've just made a serious mistake. They've shown us their shields, and they've severely underestimated us." The morning sun continued to shine through the windows, but the world it illuminated had changed forever. Humanity had just met its first aliens, and they weren't impressed. That General Thompson thought with a grim smile. might be their biggest advantage. 1 month passed quickly. Military bases around the world had been busy with preparations, though they kept their activities quiet. General Thompson spent most of this time at the Pentagon, reviewing defense plans and studying the video footage of the alien shield technology. The return of the Galactic Council was different from their first arrival. This time, they appeared in Washington, D.C., their massive ship hovering over the National Mall like a gleaming silver cloud. It was twice the size of an aircraft carrier and made no sound as it floated in the air. Inside the White House's East Room, Earth's military and political leaders gathered to meet the expanded alien delegation. 7 aliens entered through their blue light portal, their liquid metal robes flowing as if moved by an invisible wind. "We have reached our decision," the High Observer announced, looking down at the assembled humans with glowing eyes. "Earth will be given protected status under Galactic Council supervision." President Williams stood from his chair, his face stern. "Protected status? We weren't aware we needed protection." A new alien stepped forward, taller than the others, with markings on its robe that seemed to indicate higher rank. "Allow me to be clear," it said in a deep voice. "Your civilization is dangerous, to itself and others. Your reliance on primitive weapons and your history of conflict make you unsuitable for full membership." General Thompson watched as satellite feeds on his tablet showed more alien ships appearing over other major cities worldwide. A classic show of force. "Your weapons technology is particularly concerning," the tall alien continued. "The use of explosive-propelled projectiles is banned in civilized space. It's barbaric. You will be required to adopt our energy-based defense systems." The room grew tense. Admiral Foster, sitting next to Thompson, whispered, "They really don't get it, do they?" The High Observer raised a device that projected a holographic image of Earth. "We have positioned ships over your major population centers. This is not a threat, merely a demonstration of our ability to enforce Council decisions." President Williams remained calm, but his voice carried steel in it. "And if we decline this protected status?" The aliens looked at each other as if surprised by the question. The tall one spoke again. "You misunderstand. This is not an offer. It is an explanation of what will happen. Resistance would be—" It paused, searching for the word. "Pointless." General Thompson stood up slowly. "Would the Council be interested in a small demonstration before making final decisions? We would like to show you some of our military capabilities." The aliens made that laughing sound again. "We have already analyzed your weapons," one of them said. "Simple kinetic projectiles, explosive devices, and primitive nuclear weapons. Our shields can handle any of these with ease." Thompson smiled slightly. "Still, we insist on a demonstration. Consider it a cultural exchange." The tall alien waved its hand dismissively. "If it will help you accept your new status, we will allow a brief demonstration tomorrow. Though I fail to see the point in watching primitive weapons bounce off our shields." "Tomorrow, then," Thompson agreed, sharing a knowing look with Admiral Foster. As the aliens left through their portal, President Williams turned to his military advisors. "Are we ready?" General Thompson nodded. "Yes, sir. Their arrogance is their weakness. They assume that because their technology is more advanced, they understand everything about combat. They've forgotten the basic principles of physics." "And our test results?" the President asked. Admiral Foster pulled out a tablet showing weapon test data. "Confirmed, sir. Their shields are optimized for energy weapons. They convert incoming energy into harmless forms, but they barely register solid objects. It's like they never considered someone would still use physical projectiles." "Tomorrow will be interesting," Thompson said, looking out the window at the alien ship. "They laugh at our primitive guns now, but physics doesn't care about technological advancement. Mass times velocity equals force, no matter how advanced your civilization is." As night fell over Washington, lights from the alien ship cast strange shadows over the city. In bases across the world, soldiers prepared their primitive weapons, waiting for tomorrow's demonstration. The aliens' laughter would soon fade, replaced by a harsh lesson in underestimating humanity. The morning of the demonstration arrived bright and clear at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland. The military had set up a special demonstration area, with bleachers for the alien delegates and Earth's representatives. Behind the seating area, news cameras gathered to broadcast the event worldwide. The alien ships hung in the sky like silver clouds, their presence a constant reminder of the Galactic Council's power. The High Observer and 12 other alien officials sat in their section, their liquid metal robes shimmering in the sunlight. General Thompson stood at the podium, his voice clear and professional. "Welcome to our demonstration of Earth's military capabilities. We'll start small and work our way up." The tall alien from yesterday, now identified as Supreme Commander, made a dismissive gesture. "Please, proceed with your demonstration. We have allocated 1 hour for this entertainment." Thompson nodded to the first demonstration team. A soldier stepped forward, carrying a standard-issue M4 rifle. 20 yards away stood a target protected by one of the aliens' personal shields, which they had confidently provided for the demonstration. "First, a simple demonstration of our basic infantry weapon," Thompson announced. The aliens chattered among themselves, their translator devices carrying phrases like "waste of time" and "primitive technology" to the human observers. The soldier took aim. The rifle cracked 3 times. The shield flickered blue, and 3 holes appeared in the target behind it. Sudden silence fell over the alien section. "Impossible," the Supreme Commander stated, standing up. "Fire again." The soldier fired another burst. Again, the bullets passed through the shield as if it wasn't there, shredding the target. "Would you like to see it in slow motion?" Thompson asked, gesturing to a large screen. The replay showed the bullets passing straight through the shield's energy field without slowing. "Our shields are designed to stop any weapon," one alien scientist protested, checking readings on a device. "They convert energy attacks into harmless forms." "Yes," Thompson said calmly. "They stop energy weapons perfectly. But our bullets aren't energy weapons. They're just small pieces of metal moving very fast. Your shields are looking for energy signatures to convert. Our bullets don't have any. They just have kinetic force." The High Observer's silver skin had taken on a slightly paler shade. "Surely your larger weapons." Thompson gestured, and an M1 Abrams tank rolled into position. "Let's find out." The tank's main gun roared. The test area's larger alien shield flared brilliant blue, and the target behind it exploded into pieces. "Basic physics," Thompson explained to the now silent aliens. "Your shields stop energy perfectly, but they barely register solid matter. It's like trying to stop a thrown rock by turning off the lights. The rock doesn't care about the lights. It just keeps moving." The Supreme Commander stood, his earlier arrogance replaced by concern. "This demonstration is over. We must consult with the Council." "One more demonstration," Thompson insisted. "You position ships over our cities as a show of force. We'd like to show you our response to that kind of threat." He pressed a button on his podium. Miles away, an artillery battery fired. Multiple shells arced high into the sky, then down toward an unmanned alien shuttle they had provided for the demonstration. The shuttle's shields glowed bright blue. Then the vehicle disappeared in a series of explosions. "Simple shells," Thompson said quietly, "filled with simple explosives and simple metal fragments. No energy weapons, no complex technology. Just basic physics that your advanced shields can't handle." The alien delegation stood in stunned silence. Their translator devices carried whispers. "How did we miss this? The shields are useless. They could have attacked at any time." "Now," Thompson said, his voice firm but not threatening, "shall we discuss revising the terms of Earth's membership in the Galactic Council? As equals this time." The Supreme Commander looked at the smoking remains of their shuttle, then at the simple rifle still held by the human soldier. For the first time since their arrival, no alien was laughing. Perhaps, the High Observer said carefully, we should return to our ships and reconsider our approach. As the aliens quickly departed through their portal, General Thompson smiled. Sometimes the simplest solutions were the best, and the most surprising to those who thought themselves too advanced to look backward. 2 days after the demonstration, the tension in Earth's atmosphere could be cut with a knife. The alien ships still hung over major cities, but they had moved higher up, well outside the range of conventional artillery. Their previous shows of confidence have been replaced by cautious positioning. In the Pentagon's main conference room, General Thompson stood before a group of military leaders and scientists from around the world. Screens on the walls showed the alien ships' new positions. They're scared, Admiral Foster said, pointing at the tactical display. Look at their formation changes. They're keeping maximum distance while still trying to look threatening. A scientist from India's Defense Department raised his hand. We've analyzed their shield technology further. It's actually quite fascinating. They developed it to be perfect against their own weapons, but completely ignored basic kinetic impacts. Like building the ultimate umbrella, Thompson said, but forgetting that rocks can still hit you. The room's mood was interrupted by the sudden appearance of the now familiar blue portal. The High Observer stepped through, but this time he was alone, and his usual arrogance was gone. We have reviewed the demonstration data, the High Observer announced without preamble. The Council is concerned about your shield's weakness to simple physics, Thompson asked calmly. The alien's silver skin flickered with what humans had learned was their version of discomfort. Our scientists have confirmed that your projectile weapons bypass 92% of our defensive capabilities. This is unprecedented. Another figure stepped through the portal, the alien scientist from the demonstration. He carried what looked like a human rifle, modified with alien technology. We attempted to adapt, the scientist said. We equipped our standard shield generator to a projectile weapon. He placed the gun on the table. It exploded during testing. Our power systems are not designed for this type of weapon. Thompson picked up the modified rifle, examining it. You tried to make it too complicated. That's the beauty of our weapons. They're simple. Chemical propellant, metal projectile, basic physics. No power source needed. The High Observer moved to the window, looking at the Washington Monument in the distance. The Council has existed for 10,000 years. In all that time, we pursued energy weapons because they were advanced. We forgot the basics of physical combat. Sometimes the old ways work best, Thompson said. Want to know something interesting? We still train our soldiers in hand-to-hand combat. Simple, physical fighting. The alien scientist's eyes widened. Physical combat. Without energy weapons. Would you like a demonstration? Admiral Foster asked with a slight smile. No, the High Observer said quickly. The previous demonstration was sufficient. A young lieutenant entered the room, handing Thompson a tablet. He read it and frowned. Your ships over Beijing and Moscow just dropped to lower altitudes. Care to explain? The High Observer turned quickly. That was not authorized. Some of our commanders are uncomfortable with the current situation. They may be acting independently. Tell them to back off, Thompson said firmly. Your shields don't work against our weapons, and now we know it. Don't make us prove it again. The alien scientist spoke up eagerly, almost like an excited student. Could we perhaps learn from each other? Your physical combat techniques, combined with our energy technology. Thompson and Foster shared a look. This was an opportunity, not just to avoid conflict, but to advance both civilizations. On one condition, Thompson said, Earth joins the Council as an equal member. No protected status, no supervision, full membership. The High Observer paused, then nodded slowly. I will take this proposal to the Council. But first, could you explain more about these bullets? Our scientists are particularly interested in something called hollow points. As the military leaders began explaining basic ballistics to the fascinated aliens, Thompson smiled. Sometimes the best way to make friends was to show you could fight. And sometimes the best technology wasn't the most advanced, it was the most reliable. Outside, the alien ships began moving back to their higher altitudes. Earth had taught the galaxy a lesson in physics, and now the real exchange of knowledge could begin. The situation changed 3 days later. Several Council warships broke away from the main fleet, descending toward Earth against direct orders. The High Observer's warnings had come true. Some alien commanders had decided to take matters into their own hands. General Thompson stood in the National Military Command Center, watching as red dots on the giant screen moved toward major cities. Message from the High Observer. A communications officer called out. He says these are rogue commanders. They refuse to accept that their technology could be vulnerable to primitive weapons. Thompson nodded grimly. How many ships? 5 warships, sir. They're heading toward military bases in different countries. The president's voice came through the speaker system. General Thompson, you have authorization to defend our bases. Try not to destroy them completely. We still want peace with the Council. Understood, sir. Thompson turned to his staff. Send word to all bases. Operation Physics Lesson is now active. At Fort Hood, Texas, one of the alien warships hovered over the base, its massive form casting shadows over the tanks and buildings below. A booming voice echoed from the ship. We will prove the superiority of our technology. Prepare to witness true power. Colonel Lisa Baker, the base commander, smiled as she spoke into her radio. All units, execute planned response. Remember your training. The alien ship fired its energy weapons, brilliant beams of light striking the ground. But the base was empty. All personnel and equipment had been moved to hidden positions in the surrounding area days ago. Target appears to be using standard Council shields, Baker's tactical officer reported, just like in the demonstration. Baker nodded. All units, weapons free. Let's show them what Earth can do. The response was devastating in its simplicity. Tanks hidden under camouflage nets opened fire. Artillery pieces concealed in the hills launched their shells. Even simple machine gun nests joined in, their bullets streaking toward the alien vessel. The ship's shields flared brilliant blue and did absolutely nothing to stop the physical projectiles. Explosions rocked the massive vessel as shells found their marks. Armor plating, designed to disperse energy weapons, crumpled under the impact of simple kinetic rounds. Similar scenes played out at bases around the world. In Russia, old T-90 tanks proved that their 125mm guns worked just fine against alien shields. In Britain, the Royal Artillery demonstrated why they were known as the gods of war. Back in the command center, Thompson watched as the alien ships tried to adapt. They raised their shields to maximum power, but it made no difference. They attempted evasive maneuvers, but Earth's targeting systems, while primitive, were more than adequate. Message from the rogue commanders. The communications officer announced. They're requesting permission to surrender. Thompson's phone rang. It was the High Observer. General, I must thank you for showing restraint. Our sensors show you could have destroyed those ships completely. We didn't want to kill anyone, Thompson replied. Just teach them the same lesson from the demonstration. Physics doesn't care about technological advancement. The alien ships landed carefully, their crews emerging with hands raised. They'd learned that gesture from human broadcasts. As military police approached them, the aliens seemed shocked that they weren't being executed. Your weapons, one alien commander said to Colonel Baker as he was being escorted to detention. They're so simple, but they work so well. Baker nodded. Sometimes the simple solution is the best solution. You don't need fancy energy beams when good old-fashioned momentum does the job. In the command center, Thompson received word that all 5 ships had surrendered with minimal casualties on either side. The remaining Council ships maintained their high orbital positions, making no aggressive moves. Message from the Council fleet, the communications officer said. They're requesting an immediate meeting to discuss Earth's full membership status. Thompson smiled. Sometimes the best way to win a fight was to show you could win without destroying your opponent. Earth had proven its point, not through advanced technology, but through simple physics and careful planning. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The galaxy had learned not to laugh at human weapons, and now they wanted to learn from them instead. The peace talks were interrupted by chaos. A massive fleet of warships appeared in Earth's orbit, led by the Supreme Commander who had dismissed human weapons at the first demonstration. Nearly 50 ships filled the sky, their silver hulls blocking out the sun in many cities. "This ends now." The Supreme Commander's voice boomed across all communications channels. "The Council has grown weak, considering membership for primitives. We will show you true power." In the Pentagon's war room, General Thompson watched as the ships took aggressive positions. The High Observer stood beside him, his silver skin pale with worry. "They're not just rogue commanders this time," the High Observer said. "This is the superior fleet, hardliners who believe in technological supremacy. They've never lost a battle in 500 years. Thompson's face remained calm. "There's a first time for everything." "How many ships exactly?" 47 warships, 15,000 crew members. The High Observer's voice was grim. "They will not surrender like the others." President Williams spoke from the main screen. "General Thompson, you have full authorization. Protect Earth." Thompson picked up his phone. "Execute Operation Newton." Around the world, military bases sprang into action, but not in the way the alien fleet expected. Instead of rushing out to fight, Earth's forces disappeared. Tanks rolled into hidden bunkers. Artillery pieces vanished under advanced camouflage. Soldiers moved into hardened positions. The Supreme Commander's voice came again. "Your hiding tactics won't work. We've adapted our shields. We've studied your primitive weapons. Prepare for cleansing." The alien fleet opened fire. Energy beams struck empty bases. Advanced weapons hit vacant buildings. The superior fleet was fighting ghosts. Thompson spoke into his command mic. "All units, commence Operation Newton. Show them what Earth can really do." The response started small. A single artillery piece in the mountains near Denver fired one shell. The alien ships didn't even bother raising shields for such a small threat. The shell struck a warship's engine, causing it to lose altitude. Then hell broke loose. Thousands of artillery pieces opened fire simultaneously. Tank battalions emerged from hidden positions. Even old weapons, stored since World War II, were pressed into service. Every bullet, every shell, every simple projectile was a reminder that physics couldn't be fooled. The alien shields flared brilliant blue everywhere and stopped nothing. Warships built to shrug off energy weapons fell to simple metal shells. Advanced armor designed to disperse laser fire crumpled under the impact of tungsten rounds. "Impossible." The Supreme Commander's voice cracked over the comm. "Our sensors show no energy weapons. How are you doing this?" Thompson picked up the communication line. "We're not using energy weapons. That's the point you never understood. Sometimes, the oldest solutions work best." The superior fleet tried to adapt. They adjusted shield frequencies, modified their defenses, attempted new formations. But they were trying to use technology to solve a problem that technology couldn't fix. You couldn't stop a bullet by making your shield shinnier. In orbit, Council ships that had remained neutral watched in amazement as the undefeated superior fleet was systematically taken apart by weapons they had laughed at just weeks ago. The Supreme Commander's flagship, hit by concentrated fire from 5 artillery batteries, lost power and began to descend. We surrender," his voice came, all arrogance gone. "Please, we surrender. All units cease fire," Thompson ordered. Then to the Supreme Commander, "Land your ships. All of them. And this time, we're going to have a very serious discussion about respect." A High Observer looked at the tactical display showing the defeated fleet. "In all my years, I've never seen the superior fleet defeated. They were our most advanced force." Thompson nodded. "That was the problem. They were so focused on being advanced that they forgot the basics. Earth didn't win this fight with better technology. We won it with better understanding. As the alien ships landed under heavy guard, the sun broke through the clouds again. Earth had faced its first major interstellar battle, and won, not through superior technology, but through simple physics and the willingness to remember that sometimes the old ways were the best ways. The galaxy would never laugh at human weapons again. 3 months after the defeat of the superior fleet, the Galactic Council chamber looked very different. Human representatives now sat among the alien delegates, and more noticeably, many Council security forces carried what looked like modified Earth weapons alongside their energy guns. General Thompson stood at the speaking platform, addressing the full Council. The chamber was massive, with thousands of delegates from across the galaxy. Earth's section, marked by various national flags, held equal position with the oldest Council members. The integration of Earth's military knowledge into Council forces has been successful, Thompson reported. Sometimes the simplest solution is the most effective one. In the audience, the former Supreme Commander, now stripped of his rank and serving as a military advisor, nodded in agreement. His recent report on the superior fleet's defeat had shocked the galaxy's military community. "We became too reliant on complex solutions," he admitted when it was his turn to speak. "We forgot that advanced technology doesn't change basic physics. A bullet doesn't care how advanced your shield is." The High Observer, now Earth's strongest ally in the Council, stepped forward. "The human concept of combined arms has revolutionized our defensive capabilities. Energy weapons and projectile weapons together, each covering the other's weaknesses." On the main display, images showed the new joint training exercises. Alien soldiers learned Earth military doctrine, while human forces gained understanding of advanced technology. But more importantly, they learned from each other's perspectives. "Yesterday, a human trainer asked me why we never developed projectile weapons," a young alien officer reported. "I told him our civilization considered them primitive. He handed me a rifle and said, 'Try it.' I hit the target first try. Sometimes primitive just means it works." The Council chamber erupted in laughter, not mocking this time, but genuine amusement and understanding. Even the most traditional delegates had to admit that Earth's primitive military thinking had proven its worth. President Williams spoke next through the video link. "Earth doesn't seek to dominate or change the Council. We want to contribute. Sometimes looking backward helps you move forward." The changes were already visible throughout Council space. Ships now carried both energy and projectile weapons. Security forces trained in both advanced technology and basic combat. The Council had learned that progress didn't always mean abandoning the old ways. "There's an old Earth saying," Thompson continued, "don't bring a knife to a gunfight." But we learned something too. Don't bring just a gun to a space battle. Together, we're stronger than either of us alone. The High Observer raised his hand for attention. The Council votes unanimously to establish the Earth Combat Academy. All member races will train there, learning to balance advanced technology with fundamental combat principles. In the 3 months since the battle, Earth had changed too. Alien technology helped improve human society, while carefully maintaining the practical approach that had served humanity so well. Hospitals used advanced healing devices alongside traditional medicine. Schools taught both Earth and alien science. The superior fleet's defeat taught us all a lesson. The former Supreme Commander concluded, "Never laugh at something just because it's simple. Simple often means reliable, and reliable wins battles." As the Council session ended, Thompson looked out at the Earth delegation. Soldiers who had fought against the alien ships now worked beside their former enemies, each learning from the other. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not by being the most advanced, but by remembering the basics. Next week, the High Observer said to Thompson as they left the chamber, "Could you explain this human concept of bayonets to the Council? Some delegates are having trouble understanding why you'd put a knife on the end of a gun." Thompson laughed. "Sometimes the old ways are the best ways, and sometimes They just need a little update. Outside the council chamber, Earth's flag flew proudly alongside thousands of alien banners. The galaxy had learned not to laugh at human weapons. Instead, they had learned to respect them, use them, and understand that true wisdom meant knowing when to use old solutions for new problems. The future would bring new challenges, but Earth and the Council would face them together, with both advanced technology and good old-fashioned physics on their side.